All right, let's get into it. Let's see if Palo Santo's going to do what she need to do, okay? So greetings, y'all. Welcome to 773 Oracle and Tarot. On this day that the Lord has made, July the 9th. July. Baby, summer is going by so fast. July the 9th, Thursday, in the year of our Lord, 2026. Come on. There we go. There we go. There we go. So, Palo Santo's coming to work. That means we're going to have a good reading. If by chance you can hear me clearly, it's because I do not have my air conditioning units on because it is not that hot. And yesterday it was, it was hotter than Satan's asshole. And you know me, I got to be comfortable. I'll turn these units on in a minute. I'm not looking forward to that electric bill, but I was comfortable. I'm on the third floor, y'all. And sometimes it can feel like a swamp in here. Y'all saw my shuffle. Let me do this. All right, you see my pull. We're going to keep it right there. We're going to put that right there. Let's get in today's transit. And before I go any further, let me show you, I get all of my astrological information from my Llewellyn Daily Planetary Guide, the 2026 version. Okay. So yesterday, the Taurus moon reminded us that rest is not something that we have to earn. Okay. That rest should be a standard, and after all the questioning, after all the releasing, and after doing all the inner work, we got to remember something, that we are allowed to enjoy the life that we are creating. And that's why rest is important. That's why we had that Taurus moon yesterday. Today we're so after you do your rest, then you can revamp. And here we are with this next transit. This next transit that I'm going to break down for you guys. It lets us know that there's nothing wrong with wanting better. There's nothing wrong with knowing what you deserve. But the question that we have to ask ourselves this: are our standards, are the values that we're living with right now, is that helping us grow? Or are they keeping us from receiving what we say that we want? So listen, y'all, today Venus is entering Virgo, and that brings on a new lesson. That is bringing on a new lesson. What are we willing to accept into our lives? Because remember, what you don't change, you accept. What you don't change, you accept. All right. So with Venus entering Virgo, let's recap. Venus is the planet of love. It's the planet of relationships. It's the planet of values and what we find meaningful. Virgo brings the attention to the details. Okay. Virgo brings attention to the details. And if you all dealt with any type of Virgos, you know how persnickety, how detail oriented they can be. Virgo, that's Virgo. Virgo is that. Virgo's bringing a microscope to all the attention. So with those two energies combined, it helps us to notice what feels right, and what doesn't feel right, and what needs to be improved. So this energy is reminding us that we do not have to settle. We do not have to settle. We can be very intentional. Okay. We can choose very carefully. We can ask, does this actually honor me? Having standards is very healthy. Listen, expecting perfection can be exhausting. So make sure that the standards that you're placing for yourself aren't really the ones that are preventing you from getting what you really want. So with that, listen, with that being said, this is the card right here. Yeah. Justice. Justice reminds us to be very honest with ourselves. Justice is asking us this question: are we choosing from like self-respect? The shit that you're going through right now, whatever you're going through right now, are they circumstances, or did you bring those into your life? And if you brought those into your life, what are you going to do about them? That's what this justice card is asking us right here. Justice teaches us that the decisions that we make today is going to shape the life that we're experiencing tomorrow. You got to think about that shit. Your standards matter, but they also need to be fair. And not just for other people, but for yourself too. You can keep yourself to another standard, but are you being good to yourself? All right? Because it begins with us. It begins with us. Let me say this. There's a difference between having standards and chasing perfection. Perfectionism can make us believe that nothing is ever good enough. It can make us overlook something beautiful because it isn't exactly what we thought it was going to be or how we imagined it was going to be. See, that's what's being called being a prisoner to your wants and your needs, your standards like that. Don't do that. Healthy standards will help us choose better. And perfectionism keeps you waiting because it's like I told you, that perfect moment, that perfect day, that's not on a clock, that's not on a calendar. You are allowed, listen, you are allowed to want more. You are allowed to say, this doesn't feel right for me. But you got to remember that the goal isn't to find something that is flawless. The goal is to find something that feels more in alignment with you. That's the goal. All right. Something that supports who you are becoming. Those people, if they holding you down, they got to go. And no, they're not going to be happy about that. But you're not responsible for their happiness. You're responsible for yours. And that's what you got to remember. All right. So the life that you want is going to be built through the choices that you make. So when you honor your worth and you stop acting like things, stop accepting things that drain you, things will happen. Things will change. But you also have to stay open. You also got to remain open because sometimes the blessings doesn't always arrive looking exactly like the picture in your mind. So here we go. We're going to affirm. Here's what we're going to affirm, collective. We're going to affirm. Here we go. This is going to be a little bit a long one. All right. But I'm going to say it twice. All right. So we're going to get it together. And I want you to look at this justice card. All right. As we say that, you keep focusing on that justice card. And we're going to affirm, I know my worth. I choose what honors me. And I stay open to the good that is meant for me. I know that was a long one, but I wanted to encapsulate everything that I was talking about. So we're going to do it again. We're going to affirm, I know my worth. I choose what honors me. And I stay open to the good that is meant for me. You got to be able to receive. You got to be able to receive, collective. So today, you ain't got to do a whole lot of work. Today, just look at one area in your life. Look at your relationships or your work or your goals or yourself. And then ask, are you settling or are you waiting for something impossible? You got to find that middle ground. Ask yourselves this, collective. Where are you accepting less than you deserve? And where are you expecting perfection instead of allowing just growth? Huh? There's things to talk about. All right, so here we chose our card. Okay, this is the card, and also again we are getting our divine downloads from the Psychic Tarot of the Heart Oracle cards by Mr. John Holland. We got card number 4. Card number 4, joy and stability. This is wild because this card is going to go right in to what we're talking about, joy and stability. Ain't that what you're waiting for, your happiness? Aren't you waiting for happiness that will stay with you? All right. So when we talk about the number 4, we are talking about stability. We are talking about boundaries. We're talking about structure. We're talking about foundational support, security, power. You know what, y'all? You know what? Here it is. The equivalent for this right here, perfect. The 4 of Wands. So we know that the wands, the suit of the wands, that is for my fire signs. So for my Aries, my Leos, and my Sagittarians, I want you all to pay attention. Listen, this is a general reading, but because we chose wands, and wands is the air sign, suit of the air sign. Again, my Aries, my Leos, and my Sagittarians, I want you to pay attention, okay? Here it is. Joy and stability, finding happiness that isn't shaken, by life's ups and downs, building a life that feels secure and peaceful and worth celebrating. Okay. Look at that. Look, you see those two people? They're so happy, and there's the garland and there's the four wands. It's that garland's not going nowhere. That garland is celebrating the happiness that's out there. So here's the question, you all. What can you do today to create more peace and more stability in your life? What can you do today? Okay. So, right here, with this card, we're talking about being grateful. We're talking about secure. We're talking about being hopeful, and joy and stability. Real joy grows when you build your life on a solid foundation instead of temporary highs. Yeah, it may feel good for the moment, but is that going to sustain you? You don't want the cheap thrill. You don't want the cheap dopamine. You want the long range happiness. That's what we're going for. You want the long range happiness. Okay. So, and again, with this card right here, traditionally the Four of Wands, it is celebration. It is harmony. It is stability. It is strong foundations. It's a sense of belonging, So let me tell you this. Lasting happiness comes from consistency. Lasting happiness comes from healthy relationships and feeling safe enough to be yourself. You got to work on that, y'all. Joy doesn't have to be loud to be real. Sometimes it's found in the quiet moments, in the steady moments, in the moments that remind you that your life is finally moving in the right direction. Protect that peace. Protect your peace, y'all. So we're going to affirm for these cards, we're going to affirm. We're going to affirm, I welcome joy, peace, and stability in every area of my life. I welcome joy, peace, and stability into every area of my life. On a Thursday, on July the 9th, no less. Shit. Y'all, I ain't got no more. That's it for today. I may be going live. You know what, y'all? I'm going to be going live on my TikTok. If you're on my TikTok, follow me there. I'm going to be going live. If not, please follow me on all my platforms, on my Instagram, my YouTube, and my TikTok. Please like the video. Yo, repost the video. It's the fastest way to help a creator out. Just repost it. Let other people know. And not only that, though, but you may be helping somebody that needs to hear this message, okay? Remember, your assignment is your alignment. And when life gets too hard, what do? You close your eyes and simply ask the universe to show you how good it can be. I'll be back tomorrow. Y'all stay blessed.